Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another Swiss 001 video. Now today we are back in the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in a Cub plane, and that is all actually for a reason. Yes, today let's do some experimenting, I guess. Now today I wanted to actually debunk a very famous conspiracy theory that is around, and that is the planes stopping in mid-air theory thing. Now for example here, we've got a video from the YouTube channel The Truther Files. Honestly, this video isn't too bad, but some of the clips this guy is using to prove his planes just stopping in mid-air Mandela effect, plane stuck in the sky theory are pretty weird. For example here, he's showing a first clip of a plane flying and apparently being stuck in mid-air. And well, in theory, he is right about that. The plane is actually stuck in mid-air. It is not moving at all. Here we have another video of another plane that is literally stuck in mid-air. And actually the explanation for the plane actually being stuck in mid-air is very much easy. As you can see on the speedometer of the aircraft, the airspeed indicator, we have an airspeed of 45 knots that this plane has. Just looking here, which is quite a low airspeed, but it's fine for flying the aircraft. But on the actual GPS, it says 8.2 knots of ground speed. That is the speed that you're actually moving at. The airspeed is the air that's actually flowing against the aircraft and making it fly. As you can see, the plane, it does fly. Now this phenomenon is actually not too uncommon. Yeah, it also happened here. It does happen quite a lot to small planes. Here we've got another example, a banner towing plane, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, this plane is actually stuck in mid-air. But why is that? Obviously, it is wind that is flowing against the aircraft, giving it airspeed, which gives it the ability to take off, but actually not move from its position, right? Does that make sense? As you can tell here in Atlantic City where it was recorded, I guess, you can hear quite a lot of wind sounds in the background. So yeah, that is really the explanation for that. Now, I've already done a video debunking this kind of theory, but that video was actually taken down because of a copyright strike. I could have actually gone against the copyright strike because I'm allowed to use videos like this to debunk stuff. That is no problem. I should have actually done that, but rather I just want to do this video again because now we're actually going to hop into the flight simulator and demonstrate this very case. Just like in the clips, in real life we are in a small plane. The reason I took especially this plane is because it doesn't need a lot of speed to take off, a lot of airspeed. You know, not a lot of wind particles flowing against the wings. Actually, I think it does only need around 35 knots. So let's just get 35 knots exactly of headwinds flowing exactly against the aircraft and see, will we be able to take off without actually moving from our spot? Let's find out. Oh yeah. Alright, let's just get some wind here. The heading that we're doing right now is 040, as you can tell by the runway. Let's just get clear skies, but some wind. Let's just add a wind layer here. There we go. Heading 040, meaning that it is going to exactly flow against our head. And speed, 35 knots. We can actually put this down to over 150, which means that we're going to be able to do this exact thing in something like an airliner as well later on. Okay, 39 knots. Let's just go for that. There we go. Now we genuinely have some wind. As you can see, the ocean is moving as well, but 39 knots, especially up in the air, is easily reachable. Let's just go ahead and take off. Come on. There we go. And we have taken off. There we go. We are actually maintaining quite a stable flight. Let's get the flaps out as well so that we can actually go for even a lower airspeed. Oh, that was probably the wrong thing to do. But there we go. We can successfully be just stuck in mid-air. That is no problem, and we're just crashing. Alright, let's maybe go for something like a Cessna that flies a little bit more, you know, stable. This one is going to need at least like 60 knots for a proper flight, so let's just go ahead and engage 60 knots of direct headwind. 60 knots of wind, that is a little bit less common, but that can also easily happen, especially at very high altitudes, you know, when you're actually in cruising altitudes. 60 knots is easily reachable. You can even get further than that when you're flying at super high altitude. So no worries at all. Let's just go for 60 knots then. There we go. We are now picking up on airspeed. Oh, come on. I think the nose wants to come up just a little bit more, I guess. And there we go. We are actually taking off. We are actually gaining lift, even though we're not exactly moving from our spot. We are right now having an airspeed of 43 knots in the negative, which means that we're actually moving backwards. Yeah, maybe 60 knots was a little too much even for the Cessna. We could have done with way less, actually. Now again, this is not an uncommon thing. Most hobby pilots have already experienced such a thing. I personally haven't in real life, because I fly a relatively fast aircraft. If you were to fly something like a Cessna 152 that is very much slow, or a Cessna 172 as well, which is not as fast as the Cirrus SR-20 that I fly, then you would experience this thing quite a few times in your life, at least. Oh, we're getting very close to the ocean. Yeah, this is kind of like a simple tip video on how you can turn your personal plane into a helicopter, but actually when you change your heading so that the headwind, for example, turns into a crosswind or even a downwind, then you're probably gonna die. Let's just see what happens when we change our heading. There we go, we get dragged away very much. Alright, never mind. We are actually maintaining a stable flight, but we're super fast because we're now going the opposite direction. The wind is basically dragging us at this point. Our ground speed is 220 knots, which is crazy. Alright, so this is pretty much most of these YouTube videos out there debunked. All these planes just have a very high amount of headwind coming against them, which makes them stop in midair. Now, by the way, all these airliner videos, obviously, they cannot, get stopped in midair by wind that easily. These are actually not stopping. It's just because they're, the camera here is a moving car, and so it looks like the plane is stopping because the car is actually moving against the motion of the airplane. That's just a short explanation for this kind of phenomenon. The small planes are the only ones that actually do stop in midair, and the explanation is not aliens or the Mandela effect, which I think is quite a bit something else. It is just the wind that is coming against them. But we wanted to try something else here in the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Let's maybe go for some bigger planes. I mean, again, we can go for winds of up to 150 knots, which is what we're definitely going to do now. Alright, world map. Alright, what plane now, though? Okay, let's just go for an A320. There we go. Airliner. This one is going to need at least 130 knots for a proper flight, which means that in real life, what I'm about to do is never going to happen, because there aren't a lot of times where winds actually hit over 150 knots. You're not very likely to fly into these winds then. Or at least it's not a good idea. Alright, welcome back. A320. Unbeatable fuel efficiency. Alright, let's just engage our winds here. 040 of a heading and a wind speed of 130 knots. That's quite fair, huh? Now, as you can see, the ocean in the background is quite active, I guess. Let's get the flaps out, full flaps, so that the plane can take off. Full power? Well, we won't need that much of that. Power, there we go. The nose is coming up already. Come on, rotate. Let's disengage the parking brake as well. Can we have liftoff, please? There we go. We are taking off. We are indeed flying. We have gained lift, but we're not moving that fast, are we? Let's go as slowly as possible, but let's also try not stalling out and crashing. Alright, there we go. Now, the thing is, all the other players here in the multiplayer right now, they obviously don't have this kind of crazy weather at the moment, so we're genuinely showing up as a floating A320, which is gonna look weird, because the other multiplayer members have, of course, normal weather conditions, whereas we are a little bit abnormal. But all's good. There we go. Oh, no. Alright, that was a crash now. But actually not that much of a hard crash, because obviously we had a ground speed of around 10 knots. So that was perfect. Let's maybe go a little bit further here with a 747. Alright, 747-8. Let's go ahead. For this one, we'll need a top wind speed that there is 150 knots. Let's just go ahead. Let's set our wind direction of 040 again. There we go. And let's get some gusts in here as well. Perfect. There we go. Alright, the airspeed indicator is going crazy at the moment. And we have already heard the V1 call out. The plane is ready for takeoff. Let's just go ahead then. Come on. The nose is already perfectly coming up. There we go. I think we have liftoff. There we go. We genuinely have liftoff now. Oh. Let's not crash. And here we go, the 747 floating edition works fine. Meanwhile, the Key Sim Flyer player down here is very much doubting his life, I guess. You know, we just have a floating 747. Let's maybe do some stunts, which works quite well. Oh no. Yeah, that is just Flight Simulator 2020 things. Oh, I'm sorry. We almost crashed into that other player there. But there we go. I think point proven, conspiracy theory debunked. So, yeah, guys, thank you for watching today's video. And I'll see you tomorrow, as always. Oh, building. Good night.